Hello everyone, I'm Brian. Today I'm reacting to These People Are Not From This World, Shiva Mukti Time, Devotee Sadhguru Adiyogi. And that's the thumbnail. Mukti is guaranteed if you manage these three things. Emotions, thought, action? Because those are the emotions I consider Bhakti Yoga, thought, jnana, and actions, karma. But it's not a direct link, but I like to think of it that way. And then obviously you got Raja Yoga, which is to get to a meditative state. Anyway, let's hear what Sadhguru has to say, or Adiyogi.
If you can conduct these three things, if you can conduct all these three things effectively, then you're free in every way.
Free everywhere.
In every way. That's liberation. That's mukti. If you can conduct all these three things consciously, you are 100% free. If you just conduct your information consciously and you can manage it well, you are 33% free. You still don't have passing mark. If you manage your energies well and also information well, you are 66%. All right, you're doing okay.
Hold on, let's rewind that. Okay.
Free. If you just conduct your information consciously and you can manage it well, you are 33% free. You still don't have passing mark.
So what information exactly though? Thoughts information maybe?
If you manage your energies well and also information well, you are 66%. All right, you're doing okay.
Energy, like bhakti. I consider bhakti, I know it's probably wrong, but I consider bhakti like love, devotion, your energies in some sense. But also that's karma as well too. Again, they're just those two, karma and bhakti, are just so intertwined. But I probably consider bhakti a bit more of the emotion side probably than karma. Karma is more of the thought without the thought and action without the emotion necessarily. But I know that's not quite true.
But if you manage all the three,
It's the third one.
then you're free.
The Shiva Bhakta will not eat in their house, the whole thing will be… whole hospitality will be gone. So he just took a mat, covered the boy, kept him in the garden. He told his wife, you should not show any sign of your grief.
Is talking about Buddha? Gautama Buddha?
When a human being is born, a certain software is set within himself, which is a combination of time, energy, and the information that he carries with him. These three together will determine various aspects of life. These three together will even determine how long a human being lives and how he lives. So if this is so, is this all predetermined? The information is definitely predetermined. This does not mean you cannot take in new information.
I'm sorry, I was smiling quite hard there because in some of the other Sadhguru videos, he talks about how he's always in bliss, and he talks to the host and says, "Don't I look stoned?" And, and I'm looking at Sadhguru, he's like, he really does look very stoned here.
It is just that. It kind of pushes you or pulls you towards certain type of things. depending upon what kind of information you have. But this does not stop you from taking in fresh information today, this moment.
What I'm gathering from this little bit here about things being predetermined, this new software, in the way I look at that in terms of the way I look at it, it's like DNA, predetermined information that you get from your father and your mother. Sometimes there's going to be a little bit of your habits there, what you like and dislike. Some people love vegetables, some people absolutely detest vegetables, and some, most people are probably in between where they like some vegetables and others not. These, I'm assuming, are probably some of the things he's talking about, I'm sure, and this is something that can be easily translated to people who don't follow Eastern philosophy, which makes perfect sense. Whenever you have your genetic code in you, it's all predetermined, like he's talking about. It's very easily translated, easy to understand for people who don't follow Sadhguru or Eastern philosophy. And that's how I'm seeing it, is that, yeah, your taste buds are predetermined and what to make. But he's talking about new information, getting fresh information today, because there's so many different combinations. And to talk about food, say for example you like chicken, but then you put blue cheese on chicken, you're like, no. No. But then you put ranch on it or something, like, oh my gosh, because maybe in the past ranch, the salad dressing, probably didn't exist, and the very new information, because it's something new that we'd never really had never had prior years. But these are somewhat new information. Obviously everything has already existed, and we're just discovering things that exist and combining things that exist. But this new combination, this new information that now we can take in and say, that's pretty good. And then perhaps that is kind of written in your DNA. No, I wouldn't say that would be written in your DNA. But it's still new information for you to take in. It's like, I like ranch. Or I don't like blue cheese. I actually like blue cheese.
Energy is allotted for different aspects of life. This information that we were talking about, a whole heap of information, is referred to as sanchita or sanchita karma. The allotted information which must be handled, which is more urgent, express, and a little more compulsive than the rest of it. This information that you have is from elsewhere, what life has gathered. The energy allotted within the system allots according to the nature of the information. If your information or the karmic information is leaning towards or veering towards, let's say, for example, physicality, you will see the energies naturally allot themselves into the physical structure of who you are.
Again, your DNA saying that you need big muscles or whatever.
If the information is leaning towards your intellectual process, accordingly the energy allots itself to that activity.
Big brain.
If the information is very emotional, energy allots itself to that dimension. If it is inclining towards a spiritual dimension, then energy allots itself in that direction. This allotment is happening by natural tendencies, but this does not mean one cannot reallocate. One can reallocate, but if you simply go by your tendencies, yes, life is predetermined. If you are 100% a slave of your tendencies, life is predetermined very easily, we can predict what will happen.
The way I'm understanding that part is, I guess we kind of have cravings and things we like or want to do. I guess addiction is very much something like that, where where you crave this thing that you must have, and you become a slave to your addiction to cocaine, or not cocaine, nicotine is what I meant to say, but nicotine or alcohol, anything in excess in the sense, or just an addiction which is excess, but you become a slave to that, or even not necessarily external factors like drugs, but even to your, how to say, like people skydiving who seek thrilling actions and stuff. They want to get that rush of natural high of excitement, and these people tend to do crazier and crazier things because they want that rush. And was it jumping off a cliff no longer stimulates them, and now they want to go skydiving off out of the plane, and doing crazier and crazier things to continue to stimulate. And they're kind of, in some sense, a slave to that, because now not everyone that does it, obviously. It's just the people who continues to want to get that rush feeling, and whenever it's jumping off a bridge or a base jump off, like freaking towers or canyons, if that no longer does the trick, they're seeking more thrilling things, and doing more daring things. Like the one video I saw was people like in like a squirrel outfit, not literal squirrel, but it's I think it's called like a squirrel jumpsuit or something like that, where they have wings underneath their arms and their legs, and they go like, here's the mountain, and they go sliding like only like 15 feet off the ground, and there's trees and everything everywhere, and they're flying through it. It's really crazy. It's really cool, but really crazy and very dangerous. But it's kind of a thrill seeker. Even more along the sexual desires as well. You become a slave to your own desires, like, again, thrill jumping or sexual or others.
Reallocation of energy, how we manage our energies, in which direction we focus on energies. Do we enhance it or do we deplete it? These things are very much in our hands. But the third dimension, which is an important composite of one's life, is the time. Time. Ticking away all the time. You can't slow it down, you can't hasten it. You can conserve your energy, you can throw your energy around, you can develop it, you can make it phenomenally big or insipid, but time going away. So this time has its own intelligence, and it flows according to certain parameters of karmic information and the energy allotment that's available in one's system. So can't we do anything about it? We can, but that is a much more elusive dimension of life than the other two. The other two are much easier to manage and manifest in one's life. Generating energy and using it the way you want. Not allowing your tendencies to determine the nature of your thought and emotion and activity is much, much easier than taking charge of time.
I'll say this is a new one. I've not heard… I don't believe I heard Sadhguru talk about time. How do you control time?
Even the Adiyogi took charge of time only when he was in certain states. When he was in such states, we refer to him as Kala Bhairava, that he took charge of time. Time determines the nature or the duration of one's life and death. Both life and death are within the ambit of time. So time, one who has mastery over time has mastery over life and death. One who has mastery over his energies has absolute mastery over his life, but not over his death. One who has mastery over his information, or one who has mastery over the tendencies which are caused by the information, or one who is free from the tendencies which are caused by the type of karmic information you carry, has mastery over the quality of his life, that whether this is pleasant or unpleasant. One who has mastery over his energies will determine the nature of his activity and how he lives. One who has mastery over time will determine the nature of his life and death, and he can determine whether he wants to live or die. So these three components together is the making of life. These three components together is what you are right now. The accumulation of body, the accumulation of information is essentially determined by these aspects. Depending upon what type of karmic information you have, you tend to go towards a certain type of information, certain type of activity. Depending upon how your energy is allotted, you naturally tend to choose certain type of activity. So they were asking me, Sadhguru, our activity, isn't it a barrier? If we give up activity, won't we be progressing spiritually faster? If you can give up all levels of activity, yes, for sure. Giving up activity, all levels of activity includes food and going to the toilet and what happens in your mind. Nice karma is the best karma. That means no activity, everything is at standstill.
Nice karma, no activity. I get it, because with no activity, no karma is generated. Therefore, it's the best kind. Because I'm assuming because if you generate karma, you don't necessarily know whether it be a good or bad karma. You do something, you hope it's good, it could be good, it might not be good. But generating no karma at all, you know it will not generate bad karma. Regardless if it could potentially generate good karma, just not generating bad karma is the better option, is how I'm understanding this. Everything at a standstill.
You just don't do work, that's not nice karma, that's bumming around.
So not getting attached to your… I'm assuming it's not getting attached to your actions. That's how you get that kind of nice karma, if I said it correctly. Doing stuff still. Doing stuff still, but…
If you can simply close your eyes and sit here for days on end, that means you're doing something good to this being. You stopped everything and just sit here, that means you're doing something absolutely wonderful to this being. Then we are fine with you. If you're doing something great to yourself, we are fine with you. If you can't do that, you must be doing something useful to 10 people around you. If you can't do that also, then you must just learn to listen to what other people say. Either you must be useful to yourself or to a few people around you. If you can't do both, what's the point of living, I'm asking? So you cannot do absolutely this and absolutely that, so little bit of closing the eyes, little bit of activity. Not little Sadhguru whole day, that's what I call as little. Because 24, is it such a great number? Is 24 a very big number? Even this little child knows what is 24? Yes, see. Even this little baby knows what is 24. All 24 hours. Either it must be invested in sadhana or in work. What about my sleep? That should also become sadhana and that should also become a tool for work. Rest is the basis of activity. Do you understand? Rest has no purpose by itself. If you only want to rest, you must rest in peace. If you want to practice only rest, then we will bury you. You can practice rest. Rest is used only as a basis of… all activity is based in restfulness. So we want you to be in a restful condition so that you could be active. So sleeping and waking up is just management of energies, that's all. Time you cannot manage, it's rolling. If you sit, it's rolling, if you stand, it's rolling, if you sleep, it's rolling, you can't stop it. But sleep and activity is a way of managing our energies and a way of coming back with new force tomorrow morning. As you go, you're like a battery cell, slowly comes back. So you charge it up and again come back. The idea of charging the battery is to put it to use again, isn't it? Nobody charges a battery just for the sake of charging a battery. You charge the battery because you want to use it. So, if one not intellectually understands, if one grasps these three dimensions within yourself, that you are a combination of time, energies and information. If you can conduct these three things, if you can conduct all these three things effectively, then you're free in every way, in every way. That's liberation, that's mukti. If you can conduct all these three things consciously, you are 100% free. If you just conduct your information consciously and you can manage it well, you are 33% free, you still don't have passing mark. If you manage your energies well and also information well, you are 66%, all right, you're doing okay. But if you manage all the three, then you're free.
There was a…
How do you manage time, though? I can understand information, I can understand your energies. The only thing I can think of in terms, I guess it's, again, my job, I'm obviously only thinking of what I experience and know, is, you know, what is it? Eating healthy, living healthy, to extend your life if you wish. But other than that, I'm not sure about that time one.
devotee whose name was Adiyogi in Tamil Nadu. Because he did not know Shiva directly, he started worshipping a Shiva's devotee. Tirunavakarsar was a great devotee of Shiva. So, Adiyogi, who was a rich man, started worshipping Tirunavakarsar as an embodiment of Shiva here. So he did much charity. Everything he named after Tirunavakarsar. He built a village tank, Tirunavakarsar tank.
Man, he says that name so fast. Tirunavukarashar.
He built a cow shed for the stray cows, Tirunavakarsar cow shed. He built a temple, Tirunavakarsar temple. He had 4 sons. He named them Tirunavakarsar 1, Tirunavakarsar 2, Tirunavakarsar 3, Tirunavakarsar 4. This is a devotee. They are not reasonable people. So one day, one man came who looked like a Shiva Bhakta with ash on his forehead. He came and asked someone in the town, why is this tank named as Tirunavakarsar tank? They said, Adiyogi is a great devotee of Tirunavakarsar, So he calls everything Tirunavakarasar. All his 4 children are Tirunavakarsars. His house is named after Tirunavakarasar. Everything is Tirunavakarasar. So this man said, can I meet him, where does he live? They told him where he is. He went to Appatodigal's house. Appatodigal in the morning, after the cooking is done in the house, he's always waiting outside in the street. Anybody who comes, please can you come and eat in my house? Anybody who passes this way, can you come and eat in my house? That's his joy. So he was waiting outside. This man came, a Shiva Bhakta. He thought it's a great benediction today that a Shiva Bhakta has come on the road. He welcomed him and took him inside. And he brought all his 4 sons, introduced them. Tirunavakarasar 1, Tirunavakarasar 2, Tirunavakarasar 3, Tirunavakarasar 4. His wife took his blessings and they wanted to serve him. He told the eldest boy to go into the garden and cut a plantain leaf and come to eat upon as you're eating here. The boy went out to cut a plantain leaf and when he opened up the tender leaf which is still rolled, when a guest comes of some significance, they don't serve in a leaf which is opened up. They want to take that leaf which is still rolled. So he wanted to cut that one. When he cut that one, a cobra came out of it and bit him in the neck. The boy came running home and in the garden he fell. And when his mother came, he said, a snake has bitten me. And he started frothing in the mouth and collapsed. His wife, totally distraught, called her husband. Appatodigal came and saw. And now, if this news spreads, the Shiva Bhakta will not eat in their house. The whole thing will be, whole hospitality will be gone. So he just took a mat, covered the boy, kept him in the garden. He told his wife, you should not show any sign of your grief. We must serve him first. After he leaves, we will handle our matters the way we have to handle it. The wife also agreed. They went and they prepared everything and they wanted to serve him. He wanted the whole family to come and have the meal with him. Then he asked, where is your eldest boy? Appatodigal said, no, he's gone out, let's have the meal. He said, no, where is the boy? It looks like you're hiding something. Appatodigal said, nothing to hide, let us eat. And why have you called all these 4 boys Tirunavakarasar, that man asked. Then immediately Appatodigal got angry. How dare you ask such a question? Do you know who Tirunavakarasar is? He's embodiment of Shiva here. You cannot talk like this. Then that man said, I am Tirunavakarasar. Then they fell at his feet and then Tirunavakarasar asked, what happened to your son?
That's weird, he didn't recognize him. Worshipping him like that, you figured he'd know what he looks like. And to say real quick, whenever they had that preview in the very beginning, it's like, don't show your sadness in front of the child. I thought, like, you know, Buddha, I believe if the story is told correctly, is that they hid all the sorrows of the world from him so that Gautama Buddha would only know joy. So that's the reason why I thought it was Buddha.
And the man said, he was bitten by a snake, but I did not want to disturb the hospitality. We wanted you to eat properly and leave. That is before they know he is Tirunavakarasar, just some devotee on the road. Then Tirunavakarasar said, don't you do such a thing, bring the boy here. And using certain siddhi, he relieved the boy of the poison and brought him back to life, blessed them and went. These are different kind of people. They are completely different kind of people. They don't belong to this world. They just have one foot in this world. Their ways and their ways of living the power with which they existed is completely otherworldly.
Okay, so interesting. I guess the last part was an example of someone who has mastered all three, perhaps. But he was, I believe, a mere devotee of Shiva, though. It's very interesting. I guess the guy just really strangely named everything after him, but yet somehow it didn't recognize him. I find it kind of strange to worship someone, but you don't. Maybe like maybe you saw the person 20 years ago and decided to worship him and haven't seen him for 20 years, and then features change for people in 20 years time or 10 years, maybe even 5. So I guess that can make sense like that. So anyways, that's my reaction to these people are not from this world. Shiva, Mukti, time is definitely a strange one, which Sadhguru didn't talk about. At least maybe I didn't understand it. That probably is the case. Maybe I don't know how he even in the other video, not other video, sorry, later in the videos in this one, he said that time is ticking. You can't really control it, but yet somehow you can. I guess for the common folks, it is something that we cannot control, which that's something that I definitely experience. I go to sleep, wake up, and realize that I didn't sleep long enough. I can't control time. That's my sleep, maybe. But anyways, you get what I'm trying to say. So anyways, my reaction to this, if you like my content, please consider subscribing, thumbs up, thumbs down below. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next vid.